Hey, we're Psychedelic Porn Crumpets and you're watching Forge TV.
Because I feel like a lot of people watching might actually want to know this. What is the origin of the name? Why Porn Crumpets?
Aliens.
Why blow up aliens?
We were kind of, at the time, I suppose, coming out as a bit more punky when it was sort of wrote and like rock, so it was kind of a dig at all the psych bands that were around. We're like, here's the Psychedelic Porn Crumpets, and then it got serious, and now we are a serious, non-serious band that has to take itself seriously. So yeah.
You are from Australia, if people didn't recognise already with the accents. What's it like? What?
I said they got thicker accents.
Oh.
Yeah, mate.
Oh, yes. So what's it like coming all the way from Australia to Sheffield? Like, is there a difference between like crowd atmosphere in Britain than?
I'd say it's about the same. Yeah, Americans are maybe a little bit different, but Australians and English people have this thing of like mosh. I suppose it's more of a mosh culture where they sort of they chant the riffs back to you, and
that doesn't really happen.
It's like it depends.
It's just like everything.
Yeah, it's almost like a sport thing. It's like a sport thing, I think. Yeah.
So how is the tour going on so far?
Good. Yeah, I think we're like 7 weeks in or something. 6 weeks, 8, 20. But it's been great. Yeah, it's been really good. Just playing every night nearly, trying to get better and better.
Must be exhausting though, that.
Yeah, it has its moments.
No, it's pretty good.
It has its moments. Coffee helps,
And
Guinness and a pat on the back from a friend.
Yeah. And obviously you are from Australia, and like you're in good company with a lot of bands coming out of Australia now, especially with like psychedelic rock and that. Like, how does it feel to like be a part of that movement that's coming up?
Yeah, I suppose we didn't really notice, and then now it's like, that you come over here and people are like, big fans of King Gizzard. And, we didn't realise how massive these bands have actually gotten.
It helps that King Gizzard were here like a month ago, right?
Yeah. But it's good. I mean, everywhere has amazing bands, I think. But I suppose maybe there's more of a spotlight on Australia at the moment.
Why do you think it's a big scene in Australia, especially that like type?
I don't know. It's sort of just, it's sort of just like everyone sort of jumped on a certain feeling. And
I also think that Tame Impala, like for the first 2 records, were like the 2 best records of the last decade. So it's like, and then now they're headlining festivals. It's like you've got Pond and obviously, like you said, King Gizzard, but there's a whole range of other bands like Orb who are travelling with Gizzard, and bands like Somnium who we play with, and Nala and Sydney. Like, it goes really deep into sort of like local scenes and sort of where we're from. Like, we always talk about Love Junkies and Hideous Sun Demon and those kind of bands. Yeah, that it was like maybe 4 years ago, I think, when we were really in the heart of it and go and watch the local scene. Even 3 years ago, it was like that was all that was sort of coming out. But now it's like really changed into neo soul kind of stuff in Perth a bit more. Not too sure about the East Coast stuff, but there's a lots of punk stuff happening in Sydney and around Adelaide, and that's kind of been a big thing. Like bands like Skeggs, I suppose, and June Rats and bits and pieces. And now Amyl and the Sniffers, who are absolutely killing it. But yeah, I think now though it's just great to be like, I suppose we 3 albums under the belt and started to like be able to travel a bit and like go and play some places. And I do think though that the Australian scene is like still just, there's bands that's undiscovered that it can go deeper like than just at the surface.
So you and your catalogue, it's quite interesting because you released High Visceral Part 1 and 2, and now you've gone on to, and now for the whatchamacallit. How was it for you to kind of diverge yourself away from just making another High Visceral 3 and making a different album?
I think we put that out onto what should we call the next record, and someone was like High Visceral 3, which would have been probably good. But I don't know, we just wanted to straight away try different artistic approach, I suppose, and just work with different like artists, because we were like, I suppose it's easy if you just like, we got the artwork from Zuasi, and then we'll just make another record and do these 8-minute sort of tracks. And I was saying before in another interview, it felt like I'd just completely forgotten how to write like an actual normal song, and I wanted to kind of focus back on actual like song structures and bits and pieces and how to transition, but do it like in a way that it's not like just repetitive, and transition an album that had a concept and then it went into 3 or 4 different concepts that didn't actually work out, and so it's kind of this whatchamacallit record that I like it though. I think it works, and there's a lot of flavours that can keep a listener going, but I don't know, we were talking about the songs that sort of got left off, and I think if we had a bit more time, even though like we should have just been like, right, put our foot down, this is what's going to happen and how the record's going to come out, but for the songs that we sort of left off are sort of now the building blocks or the ideas that this next record is going to be on, and I think giving them a bit more time is going to really open that space up, because there's loads of ideas like Glitterbug and the bits and pieces that me and Luke were just playing before, and we're like, why don't we put this on, or why don't we put this on, or like, and it was more the tracks, I suppose, that were a bit more out of the ballpark a bit, and we're like, well, it's going to be, I think the album itself had a sort of very linear approach where it's like not easy sort of to get, but there's a lot less stuff on there that's what
more
hell's
accessible.
going on. Yeah, that's it. And I think we just wanted to make a really accessible album to be like, all right, like this is a record that anyone can listen to, and if you're going to listen to it, here's a bunch of other stuff, and you can dive back into the catalogue. But also I think there was a way that was like, if we were going to get, I know we were getting sort of traction in like some direction where it's like, oh, you're being like Raw Blood, or you're now affiliated with them, and you've got all this sort of different media outlets and stuff. But I don't know, I suppose it was in the back of the head, but now it's like trying to completely get rid of that and just be like, let's write the 4th record with no one in mind apart from ourselves and what we like creating. And then and go from there, and hopefully we can make something really fucking weird, and it just sounds like nothing we've done before. So yeah, white noise.
When you are performing live, what songs tend to go down the best? Is it more high visceral, or is it more whatchamacallit?
I mean, we're at the point where at the moment we can only play like the heavy stuff. It's like there's a big so many tracks that we'd want to play, but you sort of need that string section, you need extra bits and pieces, and maybe just like a little droney sitar thing that's working. I've never been a fan of like what do you call it, just launching samples and bits and pieces to be like, here's a backing track, because it's just, you want it to be there, you want it to be alive, and you want to see like 12 or 13 people on stage actually performing those songs. So hopefully in like 2 or 3 years time, if it keeps going really well, then we can dive back in and start performing these bigger arrangements, and like they were sort of recorded, because I think we record without a band in mind, I suppose. It's like, what is this song, how's it gonna sound, like what is the best thing we can do with this piece of music.